project on the list is repairing the broken wheel on my Honda generator. I bought this off of Craigslist for about a third of what they cost new, and it had only been run just a couple hours. And I just love Honda generators. I just think the world of them. But one thing that was wrong with it was that it looked like somebody had hit this with a fork, who knows what, but essentially ruined the wheel. So ordered a new wheel from Honda, and I'm going to stick that on so the thing rolls properly. Well, this is pretty self-explanatory, I think. For me, it's just important to fix these things psychologically for no other reason, because it seems to me that when something starts breaking and falling apart, you kind of stop caring about it and don't look after it, care for it as well as when it's nice and new. And that's why repairing these things for me is the way to go. This helps remind me to look after and take care of them. Because this is a tool for us where we lose power a lot. It is essential. Yeah, see? I don't know how that happened, but it's like if I got hit with something, forklift or something. It is new now. Did you realize that you can resharpen side cutters? I think a lot of guys, once they get dull and they're not effective at cutting anymore, simply throw them away and get a new pair. You can tell if your side cutters need sharpening by a quick tip, or by this technique right here. Take a piece of paper, printer paper, squeeze them, and if it won't cut through the paper, then you need to sharpen them. So let's take these over to the vise and I'll show you a simple and easy way to do it. So a good sharpening system that's really versatile that I've recommended and still do is the Spyderco Sharp Maker. And it's intended to sharpen knives, but it's really versatile because of the shape of the stones. And I have found that it works good for sharpening tools, awls, gouges, even scissors, and it's really good for sharpening these cutters. The reason why is it's got a triangle-shaped stone that's flat-sided. It even has a groove in there. You can sharpen really small things like center punches or fish hooks. But chalk your side cutters up in your vise here and take this stone, starting with the coarse, and start working those edges down. And the angle is really easy to determine because you can look on here and you can see where you're sharpening, how it's polishing. So just keep working that angle until you get a nice even polish all the way across. I can see the high points are getting shiny, and so I'll just keep working that down until it's nice and shiny all the way across. Now keep rotating your tool because maybe you can see here that it gets loaded up with metal and doesn't cut effectively. So just keep rotating it and you'll feel the resistance change. It will get kind of slippery as it loads up and it doesn't cut very effectively. And then I can flip it over and I've got 6 sides I can work here. And just watch the polished area, and you're just looking for a nice even polish all the way across the cutting edge of the tool. Give a little bit more attention to the tip there, because the tip and then close in here to the jaw is where it gets the most wear. Alright, we'll flip it over. Grab the other stone. So now we've got the sharpening complete. Back to our piece of paper, you can see in here how it simply cuts through the paper. As homesteaders and preppers, we need to get away from the idea of throwing everything away or just replacing things. You know, we need to always be having in our mind how we can maintain, take care of the things that we need, because we might not always have the luxury of being able to go and throw something away and just go buy new all the time. It saves money. It's a more responsible way to take care of your tools, and it's developing the skills now when we may really need them in the future. One of the things that you guys really need to consider, I don't care who you are, is if you have the ability to start storing some fuels and oils. Just the other day, I had to go on about a 3-hour trip to pick up a vehicle that I purchased. And I had about a quarter tank of gas in my truck and rolled down to the gas station, and there's a sign on there that says, sorry, we can't sell gas right now, the credit card machines are down. And I didn't have enough cash on me at the time, and so I went to the next gas station, and the same thing. The phone lines, or the data lines for the whole town were down, and even though the stations had gas, they couldn't sell it because they couldn't take any credit cards. And that's how majority of us pay for things. So it really got me to thinking and kicked me in the behind to start being a little more responsible with keeping my vehicle full and having plenty of gas stored at home. Starting with gasoline, as you can see right here, what I have is a 60-gallon can, and it's on a pallet. I have a pallet jack so I can move that around, and I've got just a diaphragm style hand pump that I can roll that out with my pallet jack, fill up the vehicles. You can store gas for about 18 months to 2 years. So what I'm doing is when I go get gas, I have a couple cans, 5s in the back, and I keep them full, and I keep rotating this. So using this gas for the chainsaws, for the wood splitter, all the other things, or just make sure every few months, you pump 10 gallons out into your car. Just keep it moving and keep it recycled. An excellent way to do it. You guys can buy those 55-gallon drums, those plastic poly drums, on Craigslist for about 10 to 15 bucks all the time. They hold 55 gallons, and they're ideal for storing gas. I've stored gas in them for years, and they do work. You go to Harbor Freight, get yourself a piano cart for about $10, $12 on sale. Sit that thing on there, and then you have a mobile gas platform that you can roll around, and it's really handy. If you don't want to go that big or have access to that, be sure to get yourself some cans. Have about 25 gallons of gas stored at all times, at least enough to fill up your vehicle once. It would be much better to be able to fill up all your vehicles twice, is kind of what I would ultimately try to hope for. Diesel fuel, kerosene, you can see I keep here. I keep all the propane tanks that I have full. If I need to run a camp stove for lack of power, just a variety of different reasons. But be sure that you have enough gas just for all of the things you have, your vehicles, generators. It's just would be invaluable, because without money and with the power down, you're just not going to be able to get it. Another thing you want to consider is have enough supplies of oil filters, gas filters, the things that you're going to need for your vehicles to keep them going if you can't get access to them either. What I've put together is I've got enough oil and filters for 3 changes on all my vehicles. So that would be my truck and Mrs. Wranglerstar's car. Fuel filters, oil filters, enough oil, extra antifreeze, especially some radiator stop leak, a couple cans of that, brake fluid, transmission fluid, all those things. You don't need to acquire them all at once, but when you go in to buy the things for your oil change, just buy 2 filters instead of 1, Or if you're going to buy a case of oil, buy 2 instead of 1 if you can afford it. And start putting those things together and just keep them in stock, because those are just things that you're not going to be able to get. I don't think you need to go crazy and have a whole 10 oil change supply of oil, because it all depends on how much gas you have. If you cannot get gasoline, there's no reason to stock a whole bunch of oil. If you figure how long your gas is going to last and kind of adjust your maintenance supplies according to that.